Kevin and Derek here with the Kostoff team at Sunflower Bank. You know, Derek, we get a ton of questions as to what's going to happen with rates. Are they going up? Are they going down? What's going to happen?
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion because we see everybody thinks that mortgage rates are directly tied to the overnight Fed funds rate,
which is the one we hear about all the time.
That's
you know,
all
oh,
you
the
hear
Federal
about.
Reserve is going to cut rates 1/4 of a point. That means my mortgage rate's going to go down, right?
Incorrect. As a matter of fact, the last cut was for 50 basis points, right, or half a percentage point.
And the next day,
Rates
we
went
saw
up.
an increase in rates.
And the next week,
We
and the
saw an
next 2
increase in-
weeks, and the next 3 weeks, they went up for a month, right? So we're really back to where we were prior to that Fed funds cut.
Right.
Because while there's a little correlation, it really comes down to so many more factors that no one ever talks about in the news.
Really, there's two big drivers when it comes to mortgage rates, and that's the 10-year bond,
Right.
and then the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac equities that trade on Wall Street.
Mortgage-backed securities. Yep.
So those are really the big drivers on mortgage rates on any given time. The biggest being the 10-year bond.
Right. And, you know, when there's insecurity in the marketplace, right? For instance, an election or a war or, you know, civil unrest, whatever you want to throw in there, the money tends to leave the equities market or the Dow Jones and go into the bond market and
Right.
look for security. Well, when you buy a bunch of bonds, what does that do? That's going to drive the rates down or the return down on those bonds, right? So the investors are going to want the highest yield possible, but when the money floods in, the yields tend to drop and the price of that bond
Goes up.
increases.
Just basic supply and demand.
Supply and demand. And don't forget, there's so much emotion in the world today too that, you know, everybody could be in love with mortgage-backed securities today and hate them tomorrow just because of something that happened in the news or somebody, you know, got fired or, you know, who knows, right?
Emotions are definitely playing a huge part, and that's something we have never really seen before in mortgage rates. And those emotions are driving a lot of what investors are doing these days.
Right.
And those are something that we don't have technicals for. Derek and I have lots of different sources that we use to try and guess where rates are going and how things are going to be playing out. What do you think is going to happen in Q1?
Well, it'll be interesting, right? Because the election is over. We know who the new president is. He goes into the seat of power on the 20th. I wouldn't expect anything crazy to happen right out of the gate. I think the Federal Reserve is going to take a paced margin to move things down as the economy hopefully gets better, as we have fewer people out of work, so unemployment numbers go down. I think we're in for a long, slow decline. What do you think?
Well, we've got the same Fed chair, Powell, will be in place. There was a lot of, I guess, fake news out there about the new president firing him. That's not going to happen. The Federal Reserve is a private company. So I doubt we're going to see any of that happening. He is a pretty conservative chair. I don't think he is very aggressive. Right. So I think we'll probably, as far as interest rates go, I think we're probably in this for a long haul with this current rate market. I don't see any, I wish I could say that we're going to see some big cuts, but I don't really foresee them right now.
Yeah, I agree. So the moral of the story is, if you're shopping for a new house, just kind of get used to this is where rates are going to be for a little bit.
And in the big picture, which we all seem to lose sight of, this mid-sixes, high sixes is a really good interest rate.
Yeah, from a historical perspective, I mean, if you throw 2020 and 2021 out the window, 6% is right in the ballpark for the last
Average.
50, 75 years.
Yes.
Right?
If you have any questions on what you qualify for, if you want to talk to us more about rates, give us a call. Kevin and Derek here, the Kostoff team at Sunflower Bank.